Hello everybody, Domestic Fox here, bringing you another knife review, and today we'll be reviewing this guy. This is the Benchmade 560BK-1 Freek, or also known as the Super Freek, which is definitely well suited for this name. This knife. Before we get right into all of its specs, my usual review stuff, I post every week, and if you like knife and EDC related content, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. All right, now let's get right into it. Steel on this guy is CPM M4, which is an extremely tough, high-speed tool steel. Not corrosion resistant by any means, so remember to keep it oiled. Just put nice steel protection on it. Get like maybe KPL shield, and it should serve you just fine. And then the handle scales on this guy is using G10. It's a mixture of black and gray G10, so it makes this really, really nice contrast between the colors. Really nice. It's got these nice G10 liners and red barrel back spacers. You got your cartridge liners right there that house the axis lock, which is also really cool. And then you got your standard Benchmade pocket clip right there. Let's do the length on this guy. Overall length coming in just about, I think, just a tad bit under 8.5. So pretty much right there. And then your overall blade length is coming in above 3.5. So about 3.75, I would say. And then your cutting edge is coming in at 3.5. So I really like those lengths. It's actually really good. All right, get my scale. .27. So it's actually pretty light for the size of this knife, which is actually really cool. Now, I know this is a pretty old model from Benchmade. It's been around for a while. It just, that's just how my channel goes. I'm always late to review all the knives because, well, I have to work to get to afford these knives. Yeah. So, and then it takes a while for me to review them because I like to really mess with them to make sure that I, understand the knife, do a lot of research on it. So that's why I'm always late to my reviews, but that's okay. Let's see what's next. Size comparison. Let's do the size comparison because I'm rambling again. Up against the Benchmade mini bug out. Benchmade full size bug out with the carbon fiber. All right, so as you can see, that this knife is actually quite a bit bigger than the bug out. So if you're used to carrying the bug out, this knife might be a little bit too big for you. But if you want something a little bit more substantial than the bug out, you think the bug out's too thin, too small, you need more blade length, whatever, this is definitely going to be a good option. Next, let's do the CRJB Feldspar small, CRJB Feldspar full-sized. So it's kind of running similar to the full-size Feldspar, but still actually bigger. Next, Spyderco PM2, Spyderco Para 3. So the PM2 is coming in close, but surprisingly, a little bit shorter on the blade, but the handle is pretty much the same. So pretty interesting. And last but not least, the most important size comparison. Cold Steel Espada Schmedium. I like saying it that way, Schmedium. It's fun. And XL. Look at that. So, yeah. Don't want to guillotine my fingers. All right. Next, height. Put it up against the PM2. So as you can see, the height is a little bit similar to the PM2, except for that, that sizable finger hole. So PM2 is a little bit taller, but still pretty comparable. And then the bug out. Yeah, the Freek is much taller than the bug out. So something to keep in mind. If you don't like your knives being tall in your pocket, then this might not be your choice. Let's do width on this guy. Let's do it up against let's do the Para 3. I think a lot of people know Para 3 width. So as you can see, it's much thicker. So this guy is much thicker than the Para 3, even with the pocket clips. So there's the pocket clip width. That's pretty interesting. Up against the bug out. Bug out is like really thin. It's almost, this guy is almost double the thickness. Not quite, but almost. Which is interesting. Pretty cool. Height, width, blade thickness. Get my calibers. I like to say it that way. I like to say things weird. If you're not used to my channel, I say things weird. I'm just a weirdo. Weirdo with a camera on the internet. Making knife videos. That's who I am. So if you like that, subscribe to this weirdo. All right, 0.11 on the thickest part right back here. Let's do the blade. This is not a definitive test. This is just for fun to kind of give you an idea. So right there, kind of somewhere around the edge area. Not sure how accurate this is, but 0.03 on the handle. Do it all the way down because it kind of gets a little thicker right down here. You know what? Let's zero it in. Get all that dust out of there. Okay, 0. There we go. And not sure if you can see that right there. 0.61. Pretty interesting. About to put this guy away and then do a review on the calibers, apparently. There you go. Now, price on this guy. It's the usual kind of, Benchmade pricing point. They make a knife and then they just slap like near $300 on it. Just go like, yeah, they price their knives pretty high with little to no compunction. Sorry, got some tea. It's good. But to be honest, the price on this guy is actually pretty justified for what you get. This is a phenomenal knife, and for the money, you cannot complain. I'm sorry, I will pay almost $300 for this knife. This is really that good. On Blade HQ, it's actually reasonably priced on Blade HQ for $252. So $252 on Blade HQ. Same for Knife Center and same for SMKW. So yeah, that's actually a really good price for this knife. You will definitely pay that much money for this knife and definitely go like, yep, worth every penny in my opinion. A little bit, it's $280 on Benchmade's website, so it's like that's a bit high. But to be honest, I would still pay $280 for this. I would, and I would not regret it. I would. On Amazon, you can get it used. Just make sure you look at what you're buying on Amazon. Used for $225, and I think it's like $300 for not used. So yeah, don't buy this on Amazon. That's just my recommendation. You don't have to listen to me. Just be careful when you buy from Amazon. You can get hit or misses. Sometimes they don't give you the best quality on Amazon, or sometimes it could be, I don't know, a knockoff. Maybe I'm not entirely sure. So just be wary when you buy off of Amazon. And yeah, so that's it on pricing. Let's do the cut test before I forget that. I've barely used this knife, unfortunately, because my day-to-day tasks don't. I end up not every time I carry this knife, I don't end up needing a knife. And then when I carry a different knife, that's when I end up needing a knife. So I haven't used this guy much, but I do carry this guy a lot. And I can say that it's definitely good. So this is still factory edge. I've never sharpened this guy, and I barely used it, unfortunately. But this is just to give you kind of an idea on how well the edge is. So that is actually really good. One of the things I noticed with Benchmade edges is it's always hit or miss. Whenever I get a Benchmade, they tend to keep their edges pretty toothy, and they don't tend to cut very smooth. This is actually one of their best out of the box edges that I've not touched this knife at all. So that is actually really good. And if you could turn in a cut, that's pretty good. All right, so yeah, there's an idea on its edge. It's actually really good, especially for Benchmade. Benchmade has definitely been improving. Some of their knives, like this one, the Benchmade mini bug out. Yeah, I got it out of the box and it had a very toothy edge. It did not cut through paper. Very smooth. It's still a cut. It would work. It's definitely a usable edge that they gave it, but it just wasn't up to my standards of what I like in an edge. But I digress. But it is using S30V, which I always find to have kind of a toothy, gritty edge compared to other steels. And I really like tool steels, high-speed tool steels. They always take a really nice and slicey edge. In my experience, correct me if I'm wrong, if you know more about steel than I do, but in my experience, I like tool steels. They just take a better edge than I find in the S30Vs and stuff like that. S30V, S35VN. I like D2 or Crewwear or whatever. To me, they just take a better edge, in my experience. I could be wrong on that though. Don't I'm no expert. Okay, let's see what's next. Now let me talk about a little bit of my personal opinions and what I think. If I haven't gave that away already, to me, this is a phenomenal knife from Benchmade. Definitely a fantastic user knife. This is something that you can definitely count on and just beat to hell, and then it will still be like, is that all you got? The was it Axis lock is actually strong. It has no blade play whatsoever. Feels really good. It requires to be broken in because it's very stiff when it comes out of the box. So you either have to loosen it or just break in that lock to make it, drop shut action. It's actually really easy to do the. Oh, dang it. Yeah, I think I still need to adjust it a little bit, but the reverse flick is possible, and you can easily deploy it. Yeah, it's fantastic. Locks up fantastically. It's fully ambidextrous, so lefties rejoice. You can reverse the pocket clip. It has dual thumb studs, and the axis lock is ambidextrous friendly, or at least it's ambidextrous or lefty friendly, so that's good. The only negative is the pocket screw size. They're using I think T6 or whatever. I hate T6s. T6 suck, and I don't care what you say. T6 are the worst. I have yet to have a T6 that hasn't stripped on me eventually. Now, every time I take a knife apart and put it back together, or do something with a T6, it makes me cringe every time. I'm like, I'm going to strip it. I'm going to strip it. I'm going to strip it. No matter what I do, especially CRKT knives, I have stripped so many T6s on CRKT. So yeah, don't like T6s. Bigger screw size knife makers, please. Bigger screw size. T6s suck. And then now one of the things I hear a lot about this knife is that it's a big knife. It's not that big. I mean, yeah, it is definitely a much more sizable knife if you compare it to other full-sized knives. This knife might actually be considered too big for some people. This is actually just the perfect size for me. You get a lot of blade and enough handle, so it's more comparable to this guy. And I mean, to me, I think this is just around the full size mark. Not really that big, in my opinion. It looks big. I think it just has a bigger presence. But if you compare it to this guy right here, this is the Crooked River. This is a big knife. It dwarfs this guy, in my opinion. Just look at that. It's like, Yeah, this looks like a big knife. And maybe I'm exaggerating. It might be a little bit more the same size, but to me, you just put them side by side like this. It's like, which one do you think is bigger? Yeah. So this is really a big knife. This is maybe just a slightly oversized knife or something. I'm not sure. Leave your opinions. Tell me how dumb I am. And then, yeah, I already pretty much covered that this is a high-speed tool steel, extremely tough, has really good edge retention, not corrosion resistant whatsoever. If you look on YouTube, just check out other videos of people doing, extensive torture tests with M4. You'll be pretty amazed on what this knife is capable of. It's actually really cool. This is definitely a good steel. It's now you might not really need this steel if you're somebody like me who just day to day opens up a box every now and then. This is probably overkill. This steel is definitely over. I'm not going to lie to you and say, yeah, you definitely need this knife, definitely need this steel. But if you're somebody who wants just one knife for years on end and you're going to use it for years on end, this is definitely a good choice because it's going to last you a long time. Sharpening it may be a pain, but at least it's going to last you a very long time. It's going to be tough. It's going to tackle any tasks that you have. And it's going to be comfortable in the hand. It has enough handle to accommodate pretty much almost any size hand. And it has this really nice thumb ramp right up here near the spine that has continuous jimping all the way there. And it's thumb shaped, so it really works. Not much of a forward choil or a blade choil or whatever. Not really. You could kind of do this. Just gotta be careful with that. But I like how it has a nice sizable sharpening choil, so you got plenty of life on this guy. A very nice thick. A lot of belly to go with this knife. You got a nice flat up here. Not too much billboarding on it. I don't mind that. Just don't slather my knife. There's some blade companies that just mess up everything. And yeah, it's extremely comfortable, extremely durable, and you'll be surprised on how durable G10 is. I taken a PM2 apart, and those are a pain to take apart. When I was trying to separate those liners from the G10, I thought I was going to snap that G10 in half, but that G10 just took the abuse I was giving it to get it off that barrel backspacer on the PM2. So yeah. G10 is plenty durable, and it's got liners and then G10. So yeah, this is definitely going to be a hard use knife. Going to be definitely well worth the money that you spend on it. Well, I think that's it. There's not really much more I can say. Just check out other people's videos on this knife. You'll see that this knife has received nothing but really good reviews of what I've seen so far. Everybody loves this knife. I don't think this knife is actually talked enough about. Most people talk about the Griptilian or the Bug Out, but this knife is definitely recommendable. There's also different models out there. There's even a mini one. There's different models with different steels and stuff like that. This is the Super Freek with the M4 and this cool red liner. So there's different styles if you don't like this one particularly. There's even a S90V mini one, I believe, out there, which is really cool. So this is one of my favorite knives. I unfortunately never got the chance to use it extensively because every time I use it, I never need anything to cut. And then, but this is one of the knives in my collection that I just gravitate towards. Every time I wake up, I'm just like, what knife should I carry today? I look around, I'm like, I kind of want to carry this guy again, but I should carry something different for once. This knife, I'm always thinking about carrying this guy. It's always on my mind. I think this knife is fantastic, and that's my long rant review. So I thank you for watching. I hope you like this video. If you like more knife and EDC related content, please check out my other videos and remember to subscribe because I post every Saturday and every other Sunday. There'll be more knives and more videos in the future. Thank you so much for watching and have a fantastic day. Bye.